Welcome in, everybody. What's going on? We are the Honolulu Blues Show. It is a Tuesday evening. Just kind of getting back into your typical dog days of Lions. I guess news. Not a whole lot going on, but we did have quite a crazy weekend. There was a lot of upsets, especially the Kentucky Derby. I don't know if you guys are Kentucky Derby guys. Nick, you seem like a guy who keeps up on it a bit, or maybe watched it every now and then. Did you get a chance to see the old Rich strike?
I did. I definitely saw him strike from the back. That was awesome. Yeah, I definitely watch Kentucky Derby every year. It's like 90 seconds. I can carve out 90 seconds a year for the Kentucky Derby. No, I do not watch any of the pregame. I do not know anything about it. I don't really normally even throw money down. Like sometimes my work will do like you pull everything, get 20 people or however many horses there are, and everyone pulls the name. Whoever wins gets the whole pot. It's all just luck. But definitely saw that, and that was awesome. That was a sweet come from behind victory. Did you guys see him after, just going after the lead?
Yeah, he was that horse was geek, man. He was ready to run like another race.
Yeah, he was just like, I gotta go, dude. The steroids are kicking through me. But it was fun. It was a good weekend for sure, man. A lot of fun stuff.
Definitely. Julius, you get a chance to watch it all? Were you kids football games and baseball games?
Yeah. I had some extracurricular activities going on with the kids, you know what I'm saying? And it was hot in Texas, so I paid the price, but it was fun. I missed the Derby, but I saw the highlights. I'm not the biggest horse racing enthusiast, but I do have respect for the gallantry of the Kentucky Derby. It's like Michigan, Ohio State. It's a big sporting event. So it interests me, but I missed it. It's all good. It was other stuff going on. Tigers were losing.
Well, honestly, you can almost like those type of events. It's like almost better to watch the highlight than wait 20 minutes before it starts, see the only 90 seconds, and then kind of linger around because there's not a whole lot of action before and after that.
It's a drama, bro. It's a drama. That's what it is.
That 90 seconds is pretty freaking exhilarating. It's not even that. Like the home stretch is pretty crazy.
Oh, it's crazy.
It is.
And what threw me off too is when they go the guy who was announced it all. He says we're in the home stretch, and it was like the halfway point.
Yeah, that's
right.
Pretty. It's only one lap, dude.
I know. Yeah, like
it's great. That's great. But do you see a lot of the celebrities like Tom Brady wasn't even there? Who he's like I feel like he's got like a residency at the Kentucky Derby, but he was in Formula One. He was at the F1 in Miami.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the F1 is taking off because of Netflix.
Yeah. It was like Brady and Michael Jordan and David Beckham and Lewis Hamilton all hanging out watching the F1.
Jared Goff too, I think, was in that circle.
Well, I don't think he's like the assistant. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we need to add him to that. But
that would be crazy. Could you imagine if we just randomly saw Goff like hanging out with Jordan, Brady, like all the GOATs, Beckham?
That reminds me, remember when we had Mike McMahon on, and Mike McMahon was telling us about how he golfed with freaking Jordan, and right, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, we got to get it back on. He was a great guy. Speaking of Lions, ex-Lions, my dad was talking to me today, and we do an annual golf trip each year. And I guess the guy, my dad's friend who goes with us, he said he's bringing a former Lions player. So my dad couldn't remember who the guy's name was. So I'm sure, he was practice squad guy or something, but nonetheless on the team. So that's huge. So yeah, maybe we'll get him on the show, and who knows? Maybe it's like someone's super sick. I'm like, Dad, how could you forget Ndamukong Suh? Something like that, But I doubt
like Joey Harrington.
Yeah. So yeah.
Jason Hansen. That'd be awesome.
That would be crazy. But only other Lions news we had was Aiden Hutchinson. We've agreed to terms of the contract. I don't know if he's actually signed pen to paper yet. I know there's just been a lot of agreeing. I haven't seen the actual, photo shoot of him, got the pen paper, fancy outfit, smiling, signing, everything's going good. So I'm sure he will eventually sign, but you never know with the Lions.
Glad we got him inked up, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But boys, I mean, not a whole lot of news. So last week we kind of gypped ourselves. We didn't get quite to our boy Josh Paschal, and this is a guy, man. The more I looked into him, the more I was on board. And man, this dude, he's a beast. He was a three-time captain, only three-time captain in school history. He's a funny guy. He's a second team All SEC and academic team guy, second highest rated player against the rush in the SEC. Just a phenomenal, bull rush type player. I feel like he's a dude that will just overpower you. As for Hutch, he's a guy that will go around you and just make sure he gets to the ball. So I think both of these guys are going to mesh very well together. But Julius, give me some of your first thoughts on Josh Paschal and kind of what you were thinking with, the Lions taking another, I guess, edge rusher, defensive lineman after we just got our boy Aiden.
Well, at first I did not understand it. It kind of caught me off guard. I was like, we had just got Aiden. Why do we need another edge? And I had saw Josh Paschal in some like first round mocks, early second round, around the time we got him. I knew he's from the SEC. I heard his story. He survived cancer. He battled all the way back. Became one of the best defensive linemen in the country as a senior. He's undersized. He's for an edge per se. He's only 6'2", 6'3". He doesn't have the most length, but he's smart and he's tough. And after looking at his scouting report, this guy can play everywhere, not just on the edge. He can stand up as a linebacker. He did that like 200 times last year at Kentucky. He can rush from the inside, which I believe is going to be his bread and butter. And I think he's going to push Levi Ozeworki even harder for those two to eventually become the inside pressure from the Lions defense. And looking at where he was picked, the value he picked, I don't believe that had anything to do with Aiden Hutchinson. It had something to do with the front seven as a whole. And I believe that Brad Holmes did his job adding to what was a big weakness. You could say we wanted to add more to the secondary around that pick. Okay. There's still a lot of quarterbacks on the board. Okay. But overall, I mean, I like it. I give it like a B+. You know what I'm saying? I think it helps our defense immediately, just like the first two picks, Jameson Williams and Aiden Hutchinson. I think we got hopefully 3 impact players. He was a senior. He was a leader. He's going to help right away. B+.
Yeah, I agree with you right there, Julius. It was a kind of a move where I was kind of confused and kind of unsure at, why we did this at first. And also I was a bit relieved because I don't know if you guys saw, but I tweeted out, if Lions draft Malik Willis, I'll give everyone $10 who likes this tweet. And I thought, oh, no way we'll get Malik Willis. Seattle's picking twice before us. They want a quarterback. Well, Seattle didn't take anyone, and it came to the Lions. And I don't know why, but my gut was just telling me, like, you don't got to worry. Brad Holmes isn't taking Malik Willis. Like, if he was that dude, he would have been that dude, So it was weird. But lo and behold, we got Josh Paschal, a dominant rusher, just a big freak. Nick, what do you got in this guy?
Yeah, like when we came up to draft this pick, there was Malik Willis still on the board. Jaquan Brisker.
Desmond Ridder too, I think.
Desmond Ridder is still on the board. Like, there is a ton of guys still out there. Nakobe Dean still on the board. There was a slew of players that I wanted over another defensive lineman. But we all knew, and we'd heard it, and we saw it last year, and now we're really seeing it. Brad Holmes builds through the defensive line. He will always be doing this. He will be drafting 2 defensive linemen, 2 of the first 4 picks from here on out. As long as he is the general manager for the Detroit Lions, he will be picking 2 defensive linemen within the first 4 picks, wherever they are, whatever picks are. So ultimately, it's not that surprising. At the time, I was shocked. I did like Paschal. Got to see him at the Senior Bowl. Great guy, 3-year captain. I had a few other things on him. I believe it was 15 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, finished career with 35 and a half tackles for the losses. Can play run stuffer in the middle or quarterback hawker from the edge. Great camera confidence. Did we talk about his dentist commercial yet?
Yeah, speaking of that, Dad, if you're watching, this guy does dental commercials. So
yes. And he's pretty much, I feel like, Oscar worthy from his.
He was good, man. I laughed at it.
He is like scaring the children's and stuff. It was hilarious.
He had the best run stop rate in the country by a country mile, actually. He gets in the backfield.
And all this shows like he can do it on the field, right? And he's a captain off the field, and he's great, with his confidence off the field. One NFL scout told Dave Burkett that after Paschal is done with the NFL or with football, he'll probably become the president, which I thought was a great quote. Like that's who this guy is he's just a stand-up guy who it seems like you want to follow, who you want to be
leader.
That leader.
Yeah.
And even though he was drafted in the second round, and he'll always be in the shadow of Aiden Hutchinson, good or bad, I feel like this is the perfect guy for that. If you tried to get like, I don't know, I mean, this is obviously wouldn't be a situation, but if we got like a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau who had that much swag, and then you try to like have him be in the shadows of Aiden Hutchinson, that's not going to work out well. But Paschal should be this guy who's just going to do it for the team. He's as we say, per everyone we sign, and just like we did with Matt Patricia, they're all Patricia players. This is a Dan Campbell player. This should fit perfectly into our regime. I'm so excited to see what Aaron Glenn does as a defense coordinator with his whole defense. I think getting everyone back from injury, I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid hard, boys. I'm getting like real excited about the Lions this year. I really like our roster. It all comes down to Goff when it comes to win-losses, in my opinion. But our defense, honestly, should be top 10 defense in the NFL. It really, really should be, in my opinion. I love Pat. That's pretty much all I got.
Hot take.
It seems like it, but I mean, we see it every year, where there's kind of like a new team, new defense, where you're like, hey, they weren't elite last year. Now they're respectable defense, and I can't, name them off, but like we'll see every now, like the Raiders, they'll jump into like a top 10. You'll see like the Jaguars, they had their moment. Grant, they had Ramsey and all the studs, but it can happen with the Lions. Paschal, he was a guy that kind of followed in Josh Allen's footsteps, the defensive end, not the quarterback. They were both phenomenal at Kentucky. He had a 90 defensive grade for PFF. These are PFF grades, so 90 defensive grade, 90.4 on rush defense, and 81.2 on pass rush. He had 6 sacks, 18 tackles for losses, 31 run stops, and a 15.9% pass rush win rate.
And that 90 PFF grade was third best out of all edge rushers. First, Aiden Hutchinson. We got 2 and 3. So, I mean, that's... And then I think Julius mentioned it too, but we shouldn't just kind of breeze over it. Found skin cancer in 2018. 3 months later, it was in remission, and Paschal was back out on the football field. And then also we brought up a team captain. First time ever in Kentucky history of their entire football program that a player was a captain for 3 years in a row. So just a few, great accolades for him, I feel.
Yeah, 100%. He's a guy that, honestly, boys, I could see him and Aiden leading our defense, like being that rile up, like passion. We're going to win this. We're going to, give it our blood, sweat, and tears, motivational type stuff. Because outside of, I'm trying to think, is there any other big voices on our defense?
I think we're find out a lot in Hard Knocks, and I would say that Aleem, Brockers, both are probably heavy voiced. I bet the Okoro brothers Charles Harris probably talks a good amount, a little bit. Like, I think our defensive line is stacked right now, and I bet they are all loud. We just don't know, you know what I mean? But Hard Knocks will tell us.
Oh yeah. I can't wait for Hard Knocks.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be phenomenal.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be just like every Tuesday when it comes on. I'm gonna be set. I'm gonna have get out of my way.
It's gonna be better than the game.
It is though, for real. Those 4 or 5 weeks are gonna be phenomenal.
All right, let's move on to our next guy, safety Kirby Joseph out of Illinois. This guy, a ball hawk, is honestly is the first thing that comes to my mind. And then the one thing that I loved about this dude was his draft day celebration. So he's getting the phone call. He knows he's about to get selected, and he's with like his little brother or his little cousin or something. And he just starts shaking the crap out of this little kid. And the kid's like, finally, like, geez, man, let me go.
Yo, it was close to like shaking baby syndrome. Like before he got bit, like he like overshook that kid.
Man. He was like, let's go, man. Like he's like, a grown man. This kid's a little 7-8-year-old boy.
And they squished him after he got picked. The poor
But then, after they get the name call, he's got the hat, he gets pumped up, and the little kid jumps up, so he's all right, and they're all fired up. And I was like, oh man, he wants to be here. This is. I wish we saw this out of Jameson Williams, but it's okay. He gave his reaction. Every man each to their own. But see Kirby Joseph this excited to have the Lions take him in like the third round. It just goes to show that this is a guy that he's not above everyone else. He knows he's gonna have to work for it. So Julius, Kirby Joseph, was he a guy? I know we went back and forth on our mock. I want to say I think it was Sterling Weatherford. And it came down to we went with Sterling Weatherford. Nick, you had Kirby Joseph, but we get him real life. So, Julius, give me a couple things you noticed about Kirby Joseph.
Well, one big thing I noticed about Kirby Joseph is he is really good at being a one high safety. So you put him in the back, and this is something that I saw Aaron Glenn likes. He used this position with what's the DB? Will Harris. He used this position with Will Harris, had him flowing from one high safety down to the slot. Tracy Walker also rotate between one high safety and in the box. So Kirby Joseph is about to become an instant contributor to that because we have one of the worst safety rooms in the NFL on paper. And I fully expect him to make plays and learn lessons early, a la Derek Barnes did last season. But this could end up being a steal, kind of like Amon-Ra St. Brown last year in the fourth round. This could end up being a steal. A lot of people are saying this could be our Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if I go that far, but he did play very effectively at Illinois, and it showed. And so I was pretty pleased with this pick. It was just Brad Holmes continue to add to the defense, which we know has been historically bad in the last 3 or 4 seasons. So how can I complain?
You can't, honestly. He had 5 interceptions last year. So like I mentioned, he's a ball hawk. 90.8 PF grade since 2020. That's the second highest among all Power 5 safeties. So he's been balling. This is a guy that I think is going to just fit really well into our secondary, and I think he's a guy that might give Tracy Walker a little bit of competition. So, Nick, I know Kirby Joseph was your initial mock pick, so break him down once again. And you got any new notes that you discovered on him while you were, finding out what he was like as a Lion?
Kirby Joseph is going to be a big impact for us. This will be a huge draft pick. He will play detrimental role, very similar to the safeties that played for the Rams this year, all drafted later rounds, who are impactful for their Super Bowl run. That's what Kirby Joseph will be. We will not see him in week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 making these incredible interceptions and out there just Ed reading people. It's not going to happen. Later in the season, he will start to get his feet under him. He will learn from Walker. He'll learn from Elliott, who hopefully can hold the reins down for the first half of the season. But Kirby will come in, as Adam alluded to. 5 picks last year, tied for the most in NCAA this year. 57 tackles as a senior. My third-ranked safety behind Kyle Hamilton and Jalen Petre. I loved Kirby Joseph coming out. Coverage, ball hawk. Watch any film of him. He is just there. He's on the ball. He knows what he's doing. It's great to watch. PFF's #1 graded safety last year, as Adam said, second best since 2020. Only played 1 year. Now, this is crazy to me. Did you guys know this? Only played 1 year as a defensive player, and that was last year. That was his first year ever playing safety. playing defense, playing anything outside of wide receiver. His first year. So that's
Lovie
awesome.
Smith, man.
Dude. And I feel like he said in an interview, he was like, people think I'm a good safety because I used to play wide receiver. He said, no, I'm just a really good football player, and I'm really good at safety, and I'm really good at wide receiver. It doesn't matter where you put me. And that was his answer. And it's like, that's freaking awesome. One of the best videos from Instagram Live. That was my last thing. Dude, that was one of the best videos here. Everyone just going around, everyone jumping on him. So much fun. Probably my favorite draft video outside of I think the Patriots drafted a tight end who was just sitting in his garage. Like, they got back from fishing. And he's sitting there with like his cousin and his dad and mom and aunt and uncle. And they're just watching the TV. It was awesome. But anyways, great Instagram video. Kirby Joseph is going to be a huge, huge Detroit Lion, household Detroit name in 2 years. Guaranteed. He is that good. I promise you.
All right, boys. So before we get on to our last couple guys, let's talk about this first, 3-4 rounds. So I know it's hard to judge because we haven't actually seen these guys play, but from just the eye test, do you think this is going to be a better first 4 rounds than what we saw last year? Or do you think, with the Sewell, Amon-Ra, and even though Levi and Aleem weren't, the best, but you think last year's draft through 4 rounds is better than this year's? Julius, let's hear what you got to say first.
I mean, I think that it might be a little less developmental. He might be taking a little more, because I think when he drafted Ozeworki and Alan McNeil last season, he knew that they weren't going to come in, dominating on the Lions defensive line. The defense as a whole just wasn't clicking like that for rookies to come in, first year rebuild, defensive line, mid-round picks, But I think his picks this year seem to be more deliberate for impact, immediately. Like, he's filling holes now. He's, and he expects, he expects those impact, I think he expects the impactful players that he's drafting this year: Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams, Kirby Joseph, Josh Paschal. I think he expects those guys to blend in perfectly with those developmental guys that he picked last year: Alan McNeil, Levi Ozeworki, Derek Barnes, who will come in this year, Jeff Okudah, Iffy, Melifonwu. These guys are all going to, this is his plan. That's what we're seeing paint out. So I agree with Nick. Like, it makes you pause and be like, hold on. Is this going to work? Because it seems like 1 + 1 is equaling 2 in the city of Detroit.
It never does, though.
Hey, man, as long as we're not like Tigers disappointing, I'll be all right. Even though it wouldn't shock me one bit to see the Lions do something like that, just because Lions.
I hope not.
Lions, but oh boy, yeah. I hope not. RIP to our Tigers right now, because it is a brutal season. But actually, we did finally get some runs in. I think we won one of the 2 games against the A's, 6-0. So bats are heating up a little bit. But Nick, what do you think of this draft through 4 rounds? Do you think, we've gotten better value, at least better than what you saw last year, just based off of, kind of before you knew Amon-Ra was a stud?
I'll answer your question straight up. I think this draft is better than last year. I think just on the head with saying that this is supposed to be a more impactful draft for last year. Even Penei Sewell, who was 20 years old when we drafted him, was still a investment. And even though he was impactful immediately, and we were hoping that was going to be the case, even if he wasn't, we were like, okay, well, he's still 20. He's got plenty of time. You know what I mean? Exactly. All last year was built for this 2022, 2023 run, which is what we're setting up for. This year is, but as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown was last year, I expect Jameson Williams to be better. As good as Penei Sewell is and how good I expect him to be moving forward, I expect Aiden Hutchinson to be better. And as good as Aleem McNeil is in the 3rd round, and how impactful he needs to be at a defensive tackle position, I expect Kirby Joseph to be better. And as good as Levi Ozeworki was in the 2nd round, I'm still expecting Josh Paschal to be better this year immediately. So it's, I think this year We drafted better players who are more ready to come in and contribute right away players. But ultimately, that makes me think that this year I would take not watching these guys and having 1 year of watching last year's guys, right? So it's just risk reward. I'm taking the risk of last year, or of this year, excuse me, even knowing that last year we had Sewell and we had Ali McNeil, who's really, really good. I'm taking Jameson Williams over Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm taking Aiden Hutchinson over Penei Sewell. And I mean, I think Sewell will play longer, but like just more impactful, more immediate, more right now, in your face. Hutchinson, I said this last week, has to be Rookie of the Year winner. And I want ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I want at least 10 sacks, 10 plus sacks this year from him. So yeah, I think this year's a great draft, and I love it. I'm excited.
Yeah. Tom says it perfectly. I'm trying to pull up the comment, but
Ed never says anything perfectly. Let's just get that.
It's lagging a little bit here. But yeah, he said if Rich Strike can do it, so can the Lions. And for you non-sports bettors out there, Rich Strike was 80-1 to win the Kentucky Derby. The Lions, not saying they're a little bit longer to win the Super Bowl. I think we're like 100-1, which is still close. But to win the NFC North, we're around 14-16-1. So that's like 1/8 of what Rich Strike did. So it could happen. And honest to God, man, if Brad Holmes has another draft class where we have 3-4 studs come out and the Lions win 9-10 games and Brad Holmes or Dan Campbell's legit, then oh man, shit is going to get scary because this will be back-to-back years where Brad Holmes nailed it. And if you got a GM that can do stuff like that, that's kind of all you need. I know you need a good head coach, but man, if you get the talent and if Dan Campbell is the man, the Lions are going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next coming time. But it's still quite a ways away, so I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid too much right now.
I'm drinking it. I'm injecting it.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm excited for our schedule release show next week because I might have us winning 11 games, boys. I truly might have us winning 11 games.
Well, we got word of week 1. We're playing the Bears, I believe. You guys broke that news to me. I didn't even know that came out. But week 1 against the Bears in Chicago. I feel like we always play the Bears week 1. It's giving me flashbacks to when the Bears came to Detroit week 1 and Swift had that infamous,
his Swift revenge this year. I guarantee DeAndre Swift catches the game-winning touchdown week 1. 24-21 Lions. 23-21 Lions.
That would be set. Oh man. Getting my hopes up, Nick.
Schedule release episode next week. If you're drinking any bit of Lion Kool-Aid, come join us next week for sure because it's going to be fun.
All right, boy.
Calling it now.
All right. Let's round her out with old James Mitchell. This was an interesting one. Tight end pick. We did add 2 other tight ends and undrafted free agents, so we're definitely, applying some pressure to TJ Hockenson. We also have Brock Wright. But other than that, it's kind of just Hawk. And we know TJ Hockenson isn't the, most healthy player. He's been a bit injury prone, bit banged up from just all sorts of different injuries, fingers, legs, knees, all sorts of that. So it's nice to have some depth. But James Mitchell coming off an ACL injury. Another type of player, we also added Jameson Williams, who's coming off an ACL. So that's 2 guys that are coming off ACL injuries. So Nick, real quick, does this concern you a bit that we took, another player with an ACL tear that's, kind of rehabbing, or is this just, a very depthful pick and kind of shoot for the stars type pick?
I think this really shows you more just it keeps teaching us what Brad Holmes is. Brad Holmes don't care. He don't give no fudges about your damn ACL. And he knows that ACL, just like we were talking about last week, is a thing of the past pretty much. That is a couple week, like repair basically. We knew we were going to draft a tight end. We needed one. We needed backup. Brock Wright is our backup tight end. It showed a couple good catches, some promise last year when he needed to fill in. I like him. This is tight end position in the NFL is like the only position where it's like a farm system, right? Every other position, you basically you are what you are as soon as you enter the league, and you can get a little better, but you're basically you are who you are. Tight end, you can sit there and freaking crop for 4 years and finally, bud into this beautiful tight end flower. And so I mean, we'll take a chance. I feel like drafting tight end every year. It's what every team does. You got to at least get one. This is our guy, James Mitchell, coming off of an ACL injury. Not too scary. 16.1 yards per catch, 6'4", 249 yards. Team captain in 2021. Unfortunately, only played 2 games. And over 70% of his catches in college went for a first down or a touchdown. He can move the chains and he can get the job done. Great red zone threat. Maybe, possibly, a new Joseph Fourier.
You know what's crazy? The Lions, we drafted a lot of team captains because Hutchinson, team captain, Paschal, team captain, James Mitchell, team captain, Malcolm Rodriguez, team captain. So 4 guys out of our first 6 picks, or 6 rounds, I guess, 5 or 6 picks, were team captains. So I think it just goes to show what, Brad Holmes is wanting to do. He's trying to build a culture of leaders, guys that, are motivators, want to win, want to give it their all. So I like it. But yeah, I agree with you, Nick, kind of an upside pick. If he stays healthy, then he could be something. But other than that, he's just kind of got to beat this little, injury ACL. So if he comes back healthy, like I just said, he should be a solid guy, compete for that 2 spot with Brock Wright. And who knows? We saw Logan Thomas come out of Virginia Tech. I know he was a quarterback, but now he's a pretty.
He was alive. We drafted him, didn't we? Or we had him?
No, he was on. He got his start at tight end with the Lions. We converted him.
That was it. And then we got rid of him.
And then he became like, I don't know if he was like a Pro Bowl tight end, but he was legit. He was a legit, probably like top 10, top 12 guy.
Seems like anyone that goes to Washington as a tight end, it just makes me think like Jordan Reed, like concussion.
Yeah. Honestly. Julius, any quick thoughts on James Mitchell before we get to our Lions awards?
James Mitchell, I mean, just looking from his scouting report, looking at a lot of highlights, he looks very athletic. I don't think they're too concerned about his ACL injury, just like Jameson Williams. I think they're kind of, hoping that he recovers quickly, and I think he will. When I watch him on tape, it almost looked like he's one of those tight ends that look like a running back after he catches. He's very flexible. He's very bendy. He doesn't run the greatest routes, but he knows how to get open. And once he, especially in the red zone, big target, he knows how to use his body. There are a lot of people thinking he was going to be one of the best tight ends in the country until he got hurt. There was a big hype. So, it could be a steal. Is this the Amon-Ra St. Brown of last year? I was just alluding to Kirby Joseph, how some people are throwing his name around. I think it could be James Mitchell from an upside standpoint. And you made a great point about he was also a team captain. I mean, we see what kind of guys they getting. I mean, it's about to be a lit locker room. That's what it's about to be. The Lions are about to be lit as a team. They're about to be motivated. This whole same old Lions, the curse. I don't think that's going to affect what they're building. I feel like it's just the people they're putting in place, Panay Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, all these team captains they're drafting. They're doing it on purpose, and it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it is.
We're building something here. The Lions are trying to do something, and it's looking like we're doing the right thing. So
it's like the oh my gosh, I'm gonna draw a blank on this. There's a church in Spain that was started in like 1820, and it's still being built today. And like, there's no like finished time. Like it's always being built. It's always been under construction since the beginning.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember the name of it, but that's basically the Detroit Lions right now. We're still building from 1950. We're just, getting all the right pieces, and we're about to be done, I think. Super Bowl team.
But you know what? Our expectations are still so low.
Yeah.
It's not like
get to the playoffs.
Like you're talking about, the Lions are going to be good. Like but that's not like something that it's not like everybody is drinking the Kool-Aid expecting that,
No. Yeah,
So
no.
if they're not good, if they win 4 or 5 games but still show improvement with their young guys, we need to be happy with that.
If we win 4 or 5 games, Campbell or Goff's got to go.
I know it's weird. Why?
It's gonna be Golf's fault if we win 5 games. That's it. You know what I'm saying? How many games did we won? What, 3.5, 2? If more around 500 is what I'm feeling right now, to be honest.
I'd at least be 500 with our schedule.
I think so. Yeah, with the schedule, as easy
There's
as
just that chance that Golf
the division's
utilizes
pretty weak this year. This is honestly probably the weakest we've seen the NFC North in like 5-7 years, because I feel like we've had at least 2 teams that were like maybe not Super Bowl contenders, but heavy playoff contenders. And I guess maybe the Vikings are still,
I wouldn't
contenders.
really consider them.
Yeah, they're I would
GM.
consider them a wild card contender,
They got a new GM, a new head coach. Like they're in my opinion, we're above them right now. We are.
I think those Packers, space, Lions, space, Vikings, space, Bears.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree.
But all right, boys, without further ado, let's get some way too early Detroit Lions awards. Nick, you put this one out here. So I'm going to go around the board, start off with each, award first. So let's kick it off with the biggest one, the offensive MVP. So Julius, take it away. Who do you think is going to win the offensive MVP? Last year, I think it was pretty clear that it was Amon-Ra. You could maybe give it to maybe Swift, but he wasn't healthy the full season. So I'd honestly have to go Amon-Ra. Julius, who wins it this year?
I think it's a very tight race between 3 players and specifically, and that would be DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Frank Ragnow. However, I think the biggest beneficiary of what the Lions are going to have, if healthy, is going to be DeAndre Swift, because Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, DJ Shark, TJ Hockenson, a healthy offensive line, James Mitchell. There's going to be more space for DeAndre Smith in that. And when DeAndre Swift, when he gets the ball in space, he's the best offensive player in our team. And I think if it all comes together, he's going to have a huge season. So DeAndre Swift is my offensive MVP.
I like it. Never a bad answer to go Swift. Nick, who do you have?
My way too early offensive player of the year will be DeAndre Swift. I'll ride the Swift train with you. The Dan Campbell showed that last year on any 3rd and 8 or plus, we're running the halfback draw. So we trust Swift. Like, I think Campbell trusts Swift and our run game more than Goff, even with Shark and Jameson Williams there, and Amon-Ra and hopefully a healthy Hockenson and hopefully a healthy offensive line. I still think we're going to run through the run game, and that is how we're going to win games. So if for us to be an 11-win season team, Swift has got to come out and at least get 1,600 combined yards, and he's going to be the most impactful player on our team. Though Goff, I think, was my number 2. Hopefully Goff is good enough where he throws so many touchdowns and so little interceptions that he is the MVP. But
yeah, Goff, honestly, he's the guy that has to do the least that could win it, because by least I feel like, keep it simple. Yeah. No turnovers, interceptions. Yeah. Keep it
exactly.
Down.
Just don't throw untimely picks, and you can be there.
Throw the ball away on 3rd down, not on 4th down.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, honestly, I want to disagree and I want to say someone else. But man, DeAndre Swift is just, every time I see him run, he's just so phenomenal. It seems like he's always hitting the right hole, always knowing where to go. And I mentioned it before, he has been the best running back since Barry Sanders. And I know there has been a lot of competition for running backs, but man, Swift has blown me away. He has looked phenomenal. If he could stay healthy for just 14 games, honestly, then I think he should easily win this offensive MVP. But there's a chance that we see some of our receivers step it up. Wouldn't shock me if we saw Chark sneak into double-digit touchdowns. Jameson Williams come back healthy and actually be a top 12 pick, or even Amon-Ra just do what he did last year. So any of those outcomes I could see taking the offensive MVP. But let's flip it to the defensive side. Who's winning defensive MVP? Nick, let's pivot back to you. We start with Julius first. Lions added quite a lot of defensive rookies. So you got a rookie here. Is it going to be Aiden? Is it going to be someone else?
My way too early defensive MVP is last year's defensive MVP, because I believe he's only going to get better. Amani Arorie, with all the help now, especially Okuda coming back, the help at the safety position, knowing he's got help behind him, a lot more help in front of him with our defensive line, newly and improved. I think Amani O finished last year third in the NFL with 6 interceptions, I believe. I believe he can get to 9 or 10 this year and just break the league open, finally put the league on notice. They'll start calling it Amani Island. Like, you're just not going to want to throw to him. You're going to have to force the ball in between Jerry Jacobs and A.J. Parker and Iffy and Okuda and Tracy Walker and Deshaun Elliott and Kirby Joseph. And good luck opposing quarterbacks. Good luck Justin Fields and Kirk Cousins. I'm going with Amani O.
I like it. Real quick before you hop it, Julius, I'm going to take mine. I'm going to go cornerback too. It's not Amani O. It's not Jerry Jacobs. Jeff Okuda. I think he's going to step up and shock everyone. And he might not have, a crazy good season, but I think he's going to exceed expectations enough to the point where Lions fans go, you know what? Coming off an Achilles tear, first time really seeing this guy, I think he deserves the MVP. So Jeff Okuda, I think he's going to make a big impact. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it because Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, at the end of the day, they're NFL GMs, NFL head coaches, and they had to do something right to get there. So it's so hard for me to believe that they would be so wrong on a number 3 pick who we all saw that this dude, he had the talent. And as long as he could bounce back from this injury and kind of just return to this number 3 talent, then man, he has an absolute shot to become our defensive MVP. Julius, you got a secondary man? Or are you going defensive line? Or are you sticking in between with linebackers?
As it stands in the NFL history, the most sacks by a rookie defender with Dwight Freeney in 2002 had 13, Alden Smith in 2011 had 14, and Javon Curse 14 and a half in 1999. Micah Parsons had 13 last year. Aiden Hutchinson will have 15, break the record, and be the Lions' defensive MVP. Hail to the fighting heroes. Hail. No, I'm just.
That's awesome. I love that.
Aiden Hutchinson, I believe he has an instant impact. It's the reason we ran to the podium to select him, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to regret not being the ones that took him. And I'm very glad that he's a Lion and he's going to impact right away.
I agree. Adam's over there muted. He's probably talking about something. I don't know. Who knows? he's pulling the old Julius, but
hey, gotta pull the Julius sometime.
We all done it. He doesn't know what's going on. All right,
I'll keep singing the Michigan fight song here.
You started singing the Michigan fight song, and his computer broke. So good thing
you're gone, Adam. Adam, you're gone.
Yeah, dude, we can't hear you at all. So I'm taking over.
What's the next?
Rookie of the year, Julius. Are you just going to stick with Hutch since you just said he's going to literally break the record for?
I'm just going to stick with Hutchinson because he's going to break the rookie sack record.
It's really came down to Hutch and Jameson Williams, like who's going to be the most impactful on their side of the ball. And I think because Jameson Williams has to rely on Jared Goff and Aiden Hutchinson doesn't, I think Hutchinson will win Rookie of the Year as well. Though I did kind of debate a little bit. I don't know, man. What if Paschal just comes in and just wins? What if he's the one to break the record?
Hey, there's a Aaron Donald theory about Josh Paschal floating around the internet talking about the similarities in a lot of measurables. and the eye test on tape, he does kind of look like Aaron Donald, and that'd be nuts if he turns out to be our best rookie, one of our best players. It'd be really great.
It would be. It would be especially with all of our second round woes we've had for the last 30 years.
Imagine Josh Paschal and Aiden Hutchinson both just going off year one. I mean,
that's what we need. That's what we need. Charles and four brothers can sit back and watch. Let's talk about comeback player of the year. Oh, wait.
All right. Man, oh man. All right, so this whole show, I was kind of lagging a bit, I guess. It must have just been me. So when I quit out, first what happened was I muted myself, and it started to lag heavily, and I was like, oh crap, it's not unmuting. And I like double clicked, and then I was unclicking, and I didn't know if I was muted or unmuted, so I just had to restart it all. But where are we at?
Rookie of the year. We both said Hutch. Did you have one, Hutch or Jamison Williams, or maybe a surprise?
Yeah, I think it's hard to go against Hutch, but there is a route, like I mentioned a minute ago. James Williams is healthy. He's still a top 12 pick. This dude was looked at as the best wide receiver in the draft if he was healthy. He's a guy that, has all the confidence in the world, thinks, he's the best player. And when a guy has that confidence, he's a guy that, can come out and win your rookie of the year. But Aiden Hutchinson is just a playmaker. I think he's going to be a physical workhorse. And I think he's just going to overpower everyone. And he's going to be, that's a little country coming out of me, but he's going to be my rookie player of the year.
Driving down the dirt road.
Man, it's honestly, I know what it is. I'm at my work. They have a country loop. Like they added one more country station in the Pandora. So I hear more country coming on than normal. It just sticks with me.
Here comes the old Adam from the sticks.
All right. Comeback player of the year. And I know you guys must be wondering, Adam, you picked Jeff Okudah. Are you going to double down on comeback player of the year? No, I'm not. I'm going to go back on cornerback and pull up Jerry Jacobs. He's a guy that undrafted free agent, kind of came to the spotlight fast. He's going to be phenomenal to watch at Hard Knocks. I think he's just with his, chemistry on the defense. He reminds me of like a defensive Jamal Williams, where he just brings that lightness, that, good happiness, positive attitude to everyone. And I think Jerry Jacobs is going to win comeback player of the year if, you can't give double awards to players, because if Okudah, has a defensive player of the year award for the Lions, then obviously he might be the comeback player of the year. But Julius, who is the comeback player of the year? Lions, we have a few to choose from.
My comeback player of the year is the reason I keep thinking about the Lions winning the NFC North next year. And I honestly believe that Romeo Okwara is going to really eat around. Everybody forgot about Romeo. Everybody just forgot about him. Like, people don't even talk about him. Talk about Kuda, Aiden Hutchinson, Julian Okwara we'll talk about, but not Romeo Okwara, who at one point was our best pass rusher for a few seasons here and continued to look good up until the point he got hurt. I think that he's going to sneak in. He's going to sneak in and surprise teams, kind of in the way Charles Harris did last year. And in retrospect, I think that Charles Harris is going to have less of an impact this year because of Romeo Okwara. And if Josh Paschal and Aiden Hutchinson, our defensive line and our whole front seven I just can't really. I don't know what's going to happen, but it seems very positive. And so Romeo Okwara, I think, is going to be the sneaky guy that has a huge comeback, even more so than the corners, Jeff Okudah and Jerry Jacobs. I'm going to go with Romeo Okwara.
I like it. Keeping it back to the defensive line. Nick, you sticking secondary? Are you going offense? Because we did have a few offensive players get banged up.
There was a ton of players you could have picked for this. I felt like Hawkinson could have been picked for this. Jared Goff could have been picked for this. Frank Ragnow could have been picked for this. Romeo Okwara for this. Jerry Jacobs could have been picked for this. But I'm going with Jeff Okudah. I'm going to go with the other one. There's a ton of players you could have picked. I feel like Adam said it perfectly. Okudah should be able to come back. I feel like there's way less pressure on him now, and he just needs to play his game, trust his instincts. From all the videos we see online, he looks like, friggin' bolt of electricity flying away. He's just crazy. He's fast. He's awesome. He hits hard. I don't think he's lost a step. I think he's just going to be even more impactful and even more, ready, NFL ready, because he's another year older, wiser, more film under his belt. So I'm excited for him. He is my comeback player of the year, Jeff Okuda.
All right, I like it. A couple more awards to round things up before we get out of here. Breakout offensive star. So this one's interesting because I think this is more of like not your superstar MVP, but your guy that we didn't really know about that, definitely impacted the team. And for me, I'm going to kind of contradict what I just said because we all know about this guy. We all know he's going to be a legit talent, but we don't know when it's going to come. And I think it's going to come next year with Penei Sewell. I think that's when he becomes a true all-pro offensive lineman. He might not, win the first team all-pro award, but he will certainly have the stats to back it up. I think Penei Sewell going up against Hutchinson every week in practice, and not to mention the Okor brothers, Charles Harris, any of the other linemen, I think it's going to be great practice for Sewell to kind of get more acquainted to legit NFL talent, because we kind of saw last year, he kind of got the first few weeks, he was kind of younger. He didn't have his man bulk, so to speak. So Penei Sewell, I think he's going to step it up and be that all-pro tackle that we are going to have. Let's kick it back to you, Julius. Offensive playmaker of the year or breakout player of the year.
I'm a pivot, even though I do agree that Penei Sewell is going to take a step forward this season. I don't know how big that step's going to be, but I feel like he's going to improve. However, my offensive breakout player of the year on paper was Amon-Ra St. Brown. And because the reason I say that, everybody say, hey, he broke out last year. Not really. He just came on strong at the end of last season, but we didn't see a full plate of it. And I think we see a full plate of it immediately this year. He goes over 1,000. He probably is our best receiver as a whole, out of all the positions. DeAndre Swift, Hockenson, the other receivers, Shark. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown gets the most yardage on our team. So I'm going with Amon-Ra, the sun god.
I like it. Keep it spicy. Nick, who do you got on this one?
I'm going for the guy we've been waiting to break out for 3 years, and year 4 is finally his time. Mr. TJ Hockenson breaks out as in being the best tight end in the NFC, better than Kyle Pitts, better than George Kittle, better than Dallas Goedert, better than anyone you want to bring up in the NFC. I'll leave Travis Kelce alone. But I think Hockenson, finally we now have a slew of wide receivers that take attention away from Hockenson. Hawkinson's first, at least the last 2 years has been all about Hockenson. We haven't had anyone surrounding him. We have a great running game. And I think Hockenson will be able to break out and hopefully get eclipse 1,000 yards, which is what I'm hoping for.
I agree on that. Would be phenomenal. But I will say, if Gronk comes back, I think it'll be hard for Hawk to top the old Gronkster. But Gronk is old, so he could fall off the cliff at any moment. So I could see it happening. And that would be totally awesome if Hawk busted out of nowhere, because he's a guy that, we know has it in him. But I think Lions fans are kind of getting a little, eager with Hockenson and kind of, want him to break out sooner rather than later. All right, breakout defensive star. Nick, let's kick it off with you. We've listed some studs out here, but we did just draft quite a bit of defensive rookies. So honestly, if you want to say another rookie that you think is going to be a breakout guy, then so be it. But who's your breakout defensive player of the year for the Lions?
I will not say a rookie, and I will not take your guy, Adam, Jared Davis. I'll leave him for you. I'm going to go with Tracy Walker, because just like wide receiver is only good as the quarterback. Safeties, cornerbacks, your secondary is only as good as your front line. Well, our front line is pretty damn good now. And I think Tracy Walker is the the quarterback of the secondary. He is the leader. He is your Ed Reed. I keep referencing him, but who is the safety for the freaking Seahawks that I can't think of right now?
Earl Thomas.
Thank you. He is like the Earl
Man
Thomas
on the run.
defense. Like we need Tracy Walker to be phenomenal. I think he steps up. I think that's why he came back to Detroit. I think that's why we went and re-signed him. He's going to be very impactful, and he's going to be a Detroit household name this year because of his big plays, hits, interceptions, everything.
I like it.
Oh, also, let's not do final record. Let's save that for next week's episode.
All right, yeah, I agree. I think it kind of fits in because
Agreed.
we got the schedule next week. Julius, wrap it up here. Who's going to be our defensive breakout player of the year?
My defensive breakout player of the year is going to be Derek Barnes. Because nobody's talking about the linebackers. And the linebackers actually exist. You know, Alex Anzalone exists. Derek Barnes exists. Who else?
Jared Davis exists.
Jared Davis. I'm sure you're going to get to him in a minute, Adam.
Right? Rod, whoever that is.
Oh, yeah. That guy, too. But I think that Derek Barnes is going to be the breakout player out of the linebacker group. And like you alluded to, Nick, about Tracy Walker being only as good as, the front line. Now the front line is good. I think Derek Barnes is going to be involved in that as well. He's going to eat because of that front line. Is going to open up some massive holes. And we saw last year, Derek Barnes has the potential to be a missile, kind of like what we wanted Jared Davis to be. And I know you're going to get to him, Adam, but good Jared Davis, Derek Barnes. That's what I'm hoping he turns out to this year. And I think it's going to happen. I think we saw way too many flashes last year for it to just be nothing. I think he's going to get better and boom, he's going to just break out.
Man, I hope so because you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going Derek Barnes as well. He's a guy that Lions, we didn't heavily address linebacker. We brought in Malcolm Rodriguez and Justin Houston. So both like 6th, 7th round picks. No one high. We didn't bring in, any great free agents. We didn't give any heavy competition other than Jared Davis. So I really think that Derek Barnes has the confidence from not just, Dan Campbell, but Brad Holmes too. And for that, I think that could win you the defensive player of the year for the Lions or defensive breakout for the Lions.
I love it.
Agreed.
Some early accolades. We'll have to run this show back at the end of the season and see where we went right and where we went wrong.
I can't wait.
It'll be fun.
100%. All right, boys. I think that should do it. As always, you guys can check us out on Twitter at Honolulu Blues _. Check us out individually at myself, Everyday FFB, Nick at Nick Favorite NFL, and Julius at the Fifth Top. And then also, special shout out, or not shout out, but RIP to Adrian Payne, stand-up guy at Michigan State. I'm sure both of you guys heard the news. He was shot. It's trying to step in a domestic violence situation. So he just trying to be the good guy and just was in the wrong situation, wrong time. So RIP to him. He was a great state player, and I know a lot of state guys appreciate him.
RIP.
RIP, for sure.
But, boys, I think that should do it. We got basically, all the top rookies. We will touch in on the, the 6th rounders, the 7th rounders. I know you guys want to hear what we got to say about.
After the schedule release episode, we'll probably do all the undrafted and the last 3 players.
Yeah.
Before camp,
a couple weeks from now, we got to really spread this out for the dog days. You know what I mean? But next week,
rookie camp coming up. We get a lot of info out of there.
No, can't wait. Can't wait for the schedule.
Wait, boys. All right. We will see you all next week, and as always, go
Lions. Thanks for listening.